Breaking tonight, the world's biggest sporting event just became a diplomatic disaster. 4 nations banned, 75 countries blocked, and now Europe's threatening to walk away. Tensions are exploding across the globe tonight. Donald Trump proposed to host the greatest World Cup in history, but instead of unity and celebration, Washington delivered travel bans, political threats, and international outrage. Everyone believed hosting the World Cup would showcase American hospitality. FIFA expected record attendance and seamless cooperation. Analysts assumed Trump would set aside politics for global sport. They were all utterly incorrect. Washington, D.C., January 15th, 2026. Standing in the State Department briefing room, officials made an announcement that shocked the soccer world. We are indefinitely suspending immigrant visa processing from 75 countries effective immediately. No exceptions for World Cup fans. Translation: Trump just told the world that American politics matter more than international sporting traditions. And what happened next? The president, who received FIFA's Peace Prize in December, reveals exactly why his approach to global cooperation is turning football's biggest celebration into a political nightmare, while European nations consider the unthinkable response. Dear viewers, between December 2025 and January 2026, something extraordinary happened in World Cup planning. Trump pushed his agenda too hard. The world said, wait. And countries that invested billions preparing for this tournament, patient and professional countries, started asking if participating in this chaos was worth the cost. This isn't just about one troubled tournament. This is about the fundamental collapse of America's ability to host global events and the rise of political division as the new reality of international sport. Let's start with the numbers, because they tell a devastating story. On June 4th, 2025, Trump issued his first travel proclamation. 19 countries. Full restrictions. No visas issued after June 9th. The justification: national security and immigration control. By December 16th, 2025, that list had doubled. 39 nations now faced either full or partial travel bans. And every single restriction was timed to hit hardest, just as World Cup preparations reached their peak. Iran. First to qualify through Asian competition, full travel ban. Their fans watched qualifying matches in Tehran, celebrating their second consecutive World Cup appearance, planning trips to America. Now, they can't attend a single match, not in Seattle, not in New York, not anywhere on American soil. And here's what makes this particularly cruel. Iran already boycotted the World Cup draw in Miami last month. They cited visa denials for their delegation. FIFA held its glittering ceremony in December. Trump collected his Peace Prize, and Iranian football officials watched from home because Washington wouldn't let them in. Haiti, making their World Cup debut. Their first appearance on football's biggest stage. Full travel ban. 40 years of waiting. Generations of dreams. And now, Haitian supporters face a choice between missing their team's historic moment or finding a way to watch from outside American borders. The math gets worse. Haiti plays all 3 group stage matches in the United States. Scotland and Boston on June 13th. 2 more matches on American soil. Their fans, who've supported this team through decades of near misses, will watch on television while empty seats mock their absence. Senegal. Partial restrictions. They qualified through African competition, their 3rd World Cup appearance, building on their remarkable run to the quarterfinals in Qatar. Their opening match? Against France in MetLife Stadium, New York, New Jersey on June 16th. One of the tournament's marquee matchups. African champions versus European powerhouses. But thousands of Senegalese supporters who bought tickets, booked flights, planned family trips, they're learning their visas might never arrive. Sheikh Sai, a Senegalese fan, told reporters his position simply: "We've traveled everywhere with our team because we are the national fans of Senegal. Since Senegal has qualified for the World Cup, we absolutely have to go." But Trump's State Department has other plans, and the pattern extends beyond the 39 countries with full or partial bans. On January 14th, 2026, Washington announced a new restriction: 75 countries. Immigrant visa processing indefinitely suspended. The stated reason? Enhanced screening for applicants who might become a public charge. Brazil, Colombia, Egypt, Djibouti, Ardan, Morocco, Tunisia, Uruguay, Ghana. All World Cup participants, all affected by the suspension. And while the administration insists this doesn't affect tourist visas directly, the message to international fans couldn't be clearer. America doesn't want you here. FIFA tried to spin this positively. They announced the FIFA Pass system in November, priority appointment scheduling for soccer fans, 400 additional consular officers deployed worldwide to handle visa requests. President Trump proclaimed he directed his administration to make 2026 an unprecedented success. But here's the reality check. FIFA also revealed in mid-January that they received ticket requests from all 201 member nations, 500 million applications, record-breaking demand, an average of 15 million requests per day over the 33-day window. And buried in their press release, a single paragraph noting that possessing a match ticket does not guarantee entry to the United States, Canada, or Mexico. Think about what that means. Families spending thousands on tickets, flights, hotels, fans from Ghana, from Egypt, from Uruguay, clicking purchase, and hoping their government happens to maintain good enough relations with Washington by June that they will actually be allowed to enter. That's not hosting a World Cup. That's running a geopolitical lottery. Now let's talk about the diplomatic fallout, because it's accelerating faster than anyone predicted. Germany, 4-time World Cup champions. They qualified, got drawn against Ecuador, Cote d'Ivoire, and Curacao. Their matches? Houston, New Jersey, Toronto. January the 19th, 2026. Jürgen Hart, foreign policy spokesperson for Germany's Christian Democratic Union, made a statement that lit up European sports media. Germany could boycott the 2026 World Cup as a last resort to get Trump to see sense on the Greenland issue. The Greenland issue, Trump's latest territorial ambition, his threats to impose tariffs on European nations who oppose American acquisition of Danish territory, his suggestion that he might not rule out military force to achieve his goals. And Hart's proposed response: use the World Cup as leverage, hit Trump where it hurts by withdrawing one of the tournament's biggest draws and historical champions. Build polling showed surprising support. 47% of Germans favored boycotting if the US took control of Greenland, only 35% opposed. That's not a fringe position. That's nearly half the country willing to sacrifice their World Cup participation to make a political point. Germany's sports minister declined to endorse Hart's position publicly. She suggested the German Football Federation and FIFA should field such inquiries. But the fact that a senior CDU official could make this statement without immediate party rebuke, that tells you how seriously Berlin is taking Trump's threats. And Germany isn't alone in questioning American fitness to host. 23 members of parliament in the United Kingdom, 4 different parties. Labour, Liberal Democrats, Green Party, Plaid Cymru. They signed a motion in parliament calling on international sporting bodies to consider expelling the United States from major international competitions. Not suspending, not reviewing, expelling. Removing American participation entirely from events like the World Cup based on Washington's recent military actions in Venezuela and Nigeria and its threatened operations in Greenland, Mexico, Colombia, and Iran. The motion hasn't passed. It likely won't. But the fact that elected officials from Britain, America's closest ally, are formally proposing this course of action? That's unprecedented. Even coaches are speaking out. Emers Faye, Ivory Coast's national team manager, addressed the situation publicly. His team faces partial travel restrictions. His fans might not be able to attend matches. It's up to the United States to provide the conditions, the means, and the resources to allow the qualified countries, so everyone can go and support their team, Faye told reporters. He expressed hope that solutions would emerge, citing how Ivory Coast fans face similar issues for the Africa Cup in Morocco, and everything went very smoothly. But here's the difference. Morocco wanted those fans present. Trump's administration seems actively indifferent to whether international supporters can attend. Captain Frank Kessié agreed with his manager. There's also an events committee managed by the Ivorian Football Federation, so I think together with the government, we'll put things in place to make it easier for our supporters. Notice the framing: FIFA isn't solving this. Washington isn't solving this. Individual national federations are scrambling to negotiate with their own governments to find workarounds for American restrictions. That's not how World Cup hosting works. Canada and Mexico are co-hosts. They each host 13 of the 1 or 4 matches. And suddenly those matches look like the safe haven. Toronto hosts Senegal's 3rd group match. Partial ban doesn't matter in Canada. Their fans can attend. Toronto hosts Ivory Coast versus Germany on June 18th. Thousands of Ivorian supporters who can't get American visas will flock north instead. The same supporters Trump's administration is blocking will spend their money, their energy, their passion in Canadian stadiums. Mexico faces its own complications. Trump has threatened the co-host nation with tariffs and military action related to drug cartels. Colombia, another qualified team, received warnings from Washington just this month. The political theater keeps escalating, and through all of this chaos, one question dominates every conversation. Is the United States actually capable of hosting the world's biggest sporting event in 2026? The travel restrictions affect players and coaches differently than fans. Athletes, support staff, and immediate relatives receive exemptions. Iran's team will play, Haiti's players will compete. But they'll do it in stadiums where vast sections sit empty because their supporters couldn't obtain visas. Imagine that visual, Haiti's first World Cup match, their historic debut. The camera pans to the supporters section and it's sparse, scattered, missing the explosion of color and sound that should accompany such a moment. Not because Haitian fans don't care, but because Donald Trump's State Department decided national security matters more than sporting tradition. The White House hasn't ruled out immigration enforcement actions at World Cup games. ICE agents could theoretically target newly undocumented Haitian fans whose temporary protected status expires February 3rd, 2026. People who've lived in America for years, who love football, who want to watch their national team, facing arrest at a sporting event. That's not hosting. That's hostility. FIFA finds itself in an impossible position. They granted the tournament to a 3-nation coalition. They can't easily relocate 104 matches 5 months before kickoff. They've sold 500 million tickets worth of applications. They gave Trump their peace prize. And now they're watching their signature event transform into a diplomatic crisis, where qualified nations consider boycotting and millions of fans face visa uncertainty. The fundamental question isn't whether America can physically host these matches. The stadiums exist, the infrastructure works. The question is whether America should host when its political leadership treats international cooperation as optional. Because hosting the World Cup isn't just about venues and logistics. It's about welcoming the world. It's about celebrating football's universal appeal. It's about putting sport above politics for one glorious month. Trump's approach has been the opposite. Politics above sport, national borders above international unity, American power above global cooperation. And the world is responding, not with acceptance, with resistance, with calls for boycotts, with parliamentary motions, with national pride that refuses to be subordinated to American political theater. We're 145 days from kickoff as of mid-January, 5 months until the opening match. But excitement isn't building. Unity isn't forming. The world isn't coming together around beautiful football. What we're seeing? Diplomatic tensions getting worse, political divisions cutting deeper, North American hospitality. That was the whole point of hosting this World Cup. Instead, it might showcase exactly why mixing politics with sport creates disasters nobody wanted. And if you've been following how political chaos threatens international cooperation, hit that subscribe button. Because understanding why Trump's approach to global events keeps generating crisis after crisis requires following the patterns as they develop.